What's up guys, Sork here. Today I wanted to talk about Morty. Now this used to be our best boss as Neuro players. I've got an example here of some damage where last year we were doing about 700k, and that was impressive at the time. You'd actually be taking Neuro just for that damage. But it's been a year and Mythic's been released, Lavi's been released, and although he wasn't a big threat when he first came out because he wasn't tanky enough and a lot of the characters in the team were LRE characters that people didn't have at Mythic, at this point a lot of people have him at A2, they have the entire team at A2 and multiple Mythic stars, so they're starting to see a lot more tankiness and the ability to just stand in the mechanics. Because of that, we've seen Neuro get dethroned as the top damage for this boss. In fact, if you have a look on the screen now, I'm just going to showcase, here is a hit from this season. It's not even the top hit that our guild has seen, but I just wanted to show 1.8 mil is kind of the norm. How much has changed for us in that time? Well, we've actually gotten quite a few changes. We've got 2 new relics for the core characters, and the best team that you can run, if the map allows it, is very different. As an example, this is one of my hits for the season. As you can see, I'm running Abby and Arky, which you can't always get away with running. There's a lot of weird things where you have to maneuver the boss so that he can't just blast the 3 psychers all standing together, which is kind of just a target dummy half of the time. But as you can see here, we're able to position Abaddon in a spot where he's blocking a lot of the attacks that could be happening. And because you have Zakar in melee, he's also immediately dying, so you don't have a nice blob for him to attack. I've kind of set this replay up specifically so that the boss won't get multiple chances to hit the same psyker, which means you'll have survivors. This does require A1 at least on your Abraxas, but at the end of the day, this is probably the ceiling. I haven't seen anything better from other Neuro players this season. I'm sure that there's some room to wiggle and get a bit more, but with this comp, this is what I'm happy with. Now, not every map allows you to pull this off. And so for that reason, there's been a few seasons where I'm still running something very close to the original comp, where I'm running Yaz and I'm running Roswitha. Now, you don't need to run Roswitha. You can actually run Atlakoya, Altakia, the sister of silence. And she actually provides so much from her passive that even if she's not built, she's still better than your Roswitha, but I don't even have her at Legendary. I missed her hero release event, so mine sucks and I can't pull it off. And also, sunk cost fallacy. I want to run the A1. Which brings me to the main reason I wanted to make this video in the first place, which is I've got a little group of Neuro players where we share strategies, we kind of talk about what works best, figure out the best strats for the fights. So I shared this replay with Yaz and Roswitha, and immediately one of the guys said, "Oh, you should be playing Altakia." And they did their own replay showing theirs with a stone 1 doing more damage than me. Which got me thinking, can you pull this off with a stone 1 Yaz? Now, I don't have a stone 1 Yaz, but I have a few friends that are starting off Neuro or a little bit less developed, and they were willing to be my guinea pig. So I set them with a few instructions of how I would approach this, and I gave them the replay and they gave it a shot. Lo and behold, it works perfectly fine. So you can see here, this is the damage total that I had with this team. And to the right is the damage total that my friend had with his version of the team. It's got a stone 1 and a gold 1 in the place of my A1s. Pretty impressive considering the rest of his team is also a little bit less developed than mine. And you may be wondering, what's going on here? Why does this work? Well, that's the interesting part. So the boss loves psychers. He always goes after a psyker if he can. And if you run psyker targets that are kind of tantalizing for him, he'll go after them and just forget about everything else. Same reason if you're running a spore, the spore won't be the priority target if he can go and attack a psyker, which is super useful because if you want to make strats for this boss, you can pretty much count on him always doing the same thing because he has a very intuitive sort of AI design. But it also means that you can set up things like this where half of your team doesn't actually matter because he's just going to go after the psychers. Now, not to steal content from a friend of mine who actually posted their replay of it, I've got it in the description if you want to watch his version of my run. Now, this is actually pretty easy to pull off on every Morty map. It's not always going to be the same damage, but I figured I'd give you a couple of examples of some strats that I've put together in the past that you can easily swap the character in for. This map in particular had a video posted by Noxtempest the other day, which is, I think, a little bit less damage than you'd get if you copied this strat but swapped the characters around. So I figured I'd post this one as well, but check out his video in the comments because he has pretty much the only example of actually using the stones with this fight. I'm just going to let you watch this whole playthrough. So you will see Yaz uses active in this fight, and it does increase the damage of Neuro by quite a lot when he does it. The thing is, it doesn't require any levels on that active. And another thing you'll notice is I did move Yaz into melee, which would just immediately kill him if you were running a stone one, but doesn't matter. In fact, me putting him melee there wasn't even the right move. I just thought it would change the AI for the fight, and it didn't really matter in the end because the boss did kind of do what I wanted despite ignoring what I was doing. So that brings us to the end of the video. I've left 3 links in the description. One to the Noxtempest video, which I also want to give a special thanks to him for posting it because it actually inspired me to make not only this video, but the entire channel itself. I figured I spend a lot of time working with a lot of Neuro players, and it's probably worth just sharing the information that I know with more people. So big thank you to him for that inspiration. And the other 2 videos are from my friend Lynseldest. He's a member of our guild alliance. He posts a lot of his strats just to share them around while we're tooling with them, but because it's all public on YouTube, if you're interested in some sort of Neuro theory crafting, you may as well give him a follow and just check out what he's doing. Either way, the 3 videos are actually really helpful if you're trying to figure this out, so check them out so you can learn a little bit more. With that, I hope you learned a little bit from this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.